रहा है तू नैना के बारे में?
I am not a puppet.
जावेद खान, मैंने कहा था ना, A for आकाश.
So, Yami, Bezu, and Neha, a huge congratulations are in order to all of you for the success of A Thursday. It's an edgy thriller that conveys important societal and systematic issues. So I think just to begin with and hit the nail on the head, I think Behzad, I'm going to come to you first. How difficult is it for Hindi films nowadays to offer both education and entertainment, especially in today's sort of woke atmosphere that we're in?
So I think films are getting there. I'm not just going to say Hindi films. I'm just going to say films all over the world, because even internationally, when we watch films in our theaters, it is basically the creme de la creme that comes to us. There is a lot of nonsense being made everywhere. But I think I'm not even going to say the word nonsense. I think those are entertaining films. We all enjoy sometimes just to go out, have a laugh, have what's a big action film. And I personally love doing that. But for us here, I think, I don't know if A Thursday or anything is like a trendsetter or things, but I think it's just found its little place right now in such a huge pool, which is the OTT platform. And I just hope it just grows a little organically, and maybe even a year later, people end up seeing this film, and one message will feel like, oh wow, I think that'd be a good feeling.
Right. Lovely. Very true said, very true words there, actually. Neha, would you like to also add on anything to that as well?
I 100%, I'm in agreement with what Bez has to say. And, I've been a part of this industry and this business, and I've been a part of, films that have had social messages in the past and not. So, both ways, the entertainment is always something that's of utmost importance. There are very few who actually go into a space where you try and educate as well. And we're also living in, like you said, an extremely woke world where everybody has an opinion and one's stronger than the other. So I also think the time is right. Like, it doesn't feel heavy or loaded. And I also think the time is right because this conversation needed to be had, and to grow that extra sort of strength as a writer and director in Behzad, or to have that extra strength and ability to represent so much of society as Yami has done in and the portrayal is so thrilling and so emotional at the same time. It's I think it's a great subject, and whether or not I would have been a part of the film, I would have been extremely proud that our industry is making content like this.
Very true. And I think, Yami, I just wanted to congratulate you for your performance in the film. I have not been able to stop thinking about Naina Jaiswal for the past few days. My entire weekend has gone into thinking, uske baad kya hua uske saath, and I think it's wonderful because we've seen you play great characters. In films like Sarkar 3, for example. I mean, I really liked your performance in that also. But, I think for me, Naina Jaiswal definitely was a sheer surprise. So to what extent has, would you say, emotional challenges and maturity helped you to portray the character the way you did in the film?
Yes, I did get a very small window of opportunity in Sarkar 3, but that was very different. That was very, very different, I think. And I don't know how I would describe Naina. Of course, till the time people hadn't watched the film, they were calling it's negative, it's gray, and all of those shades. But I think when you watch the film, you realize it's beyond any shade or beyond any one connotation that you can just put Naina in. There was constantly, her emotions were in swing with the way there was. She carried herself, or the way. Thank you. It is important. The way no emotion or no scene was just going in a single predictable manner. I think she was constantly, there was a graph. There's a very dynamic graph to her emotions and her expressions and the switch. She's in a certain way with the kids. In the same frame, she's talking to somebody else, with the cops, or with Neha, with Atulji, with with the kids. That switch has to be natural. That switch shouldn't feel, oh, it's forced, or it's very, you're just projecting it. The whole idea was to internalize it and to really, I've shared this with some of your colleagues, but that's the answer. So I think I don't know how to give any other word to it, but to really be true to the moment, to really, because I know her journey, I know what's going to happen. So make sure that people are engaged in her story, in what's happening for the entire film, and at the same time, and then once the film hits a certain curve, it's totally it's something else. It's something which I'm not done as a performer. It's something which moved me as a reader, as an audience when I read it. And I thought the only way to do justice to is to just let go of any inhibition and really get yourself soaked, in true sense in the character, and perform without thinking anything. It's not just about that one scene or two scenes or three scenes, but in I think this is a film where being only in that certain geography of location, that one home, and yet so much happened in that one fine day. I think for me, it was a great opportunity as an actor to put myself in a territory which was unexplored, to not fear any judgment, to not fear any kind of doubt, to not fear anything, and just believe in it and let it come out. So yeah.
Wow, sounds like a very, very extensive process that you've had to go through, I think, for the role. I think that was very evident as well.
Thank you.
No, definitely. But well done, and congratulations once again.
Thank
Neha,
you.
I think ACP Catherine Alvarez is arguably one of the most fearless roles you've played. And I think it was very, very wonderful as well to see like a pregnant cop sort of take charge of fighting this crime, and she was so passionate about that. I think that was very, very heartening to see. So I think for you also to play a character which has so many emotional burdens, which again what Catherine does have in the film, as we see through her relationship as well with Javed. Do you feel that maturity as a person was essential for you to bring to that character?
Did you mean the last part of your question, that the maturity as a person, for me, as in the person I am in real life?
Absolutely, absolutely. And perhaps the stages that you've gone through recently as well, in life.
It's such a good question, and no one's asked me that. And I've always wanted to share this about what I was actually going through. It's very hard to I come from a business which is we're all very vain, because if we weren't, like, if vanity wasn't something that was in our top 5, we wouldn't become actors. And it's all about inclusivity and all of that, and I get it. Like, I've seen myself as, if I may jog back everybody's memory, as a beauty queen, and representing the nation, and wearing a bikini, doing my number there, and those were stages of my life. And now having children, one is, I tip my hat off to Bez and the entire team for casting me when I was pregnant. 2 is, the analogy that I had to draw with Catherine and myself, that I am pregnant and so be it. And Catherine is a cop who would kind of go to work even if she was 8 months pregnant, and I am that person. There's a very big question, or a big word you've used, which is, what were my insecurities? I had lots. I mean, to on a normal day, if I was going up like 2 sizes in my trousers within a span of 4 weeks, and then also being on camera, I wouldn't have had that maturity if I was younger, or if I was in my 20s, looking a certain part. Or it was very well portrayed in a film that Yami did in Bala, where she kind of laid it out, saying that, and I love that scene where she says it. She's like, this is what it is, this is what life is, and this is what it means to me, and this is who I am, and she's talking about her insecurities. Sometimes your insecurities make you so conscious about the way you look. And there was this one point where, as an actor, you go and every actor, whoever disagrees, is probably lying. That when you go and check the monitor, before anything else, you look at your flaws, and only there are lots of them you don't share with people as well. And here I am, I'm big in size, I'm feeling insecure that is this the person, because from the time you actually start the business to then you seeing yourself here. But I just felt that it doesn't matter, my strength doesn't lie in the size I am, or what gives, or the things that used to give me security when I was younger. So that's when the maturity kicks in, and my security comes with the parts that I play, or the people I'm also representing. Apart from just playing this part, I'm also representing a large chunk of women who have to cancel out either their professional dreams or their personal dreams. It's an either or. So we kept all that in mind, and I felt like I could see, I sensed the hand holding, if not physically, but Bez was always there. He's like, no, great shot. And there was this one point and I was like, should we change this angle a little bit? And he was like, what are you talking about? I don't know if Bez remembers this, but I was walking, and that shot where I was walking away with Atul, and I felt like my size kept making me feel, I was overwhelmed by my entire presence. But to cut a long story short, if I hadn't seen so much of life, or if I hadn't been in a situation where I've seen myself in all shapes and sizes, I would have not been able to come to a point to understand that I'm doing this and I look like this because I'm giving life, and B, I'm doing this because I'm doing what I love, and everyone loves seeing me like this, and that's what I mean. I just want everybody to understand, you have to accept yourself, you have to love yourself, and most importantly, just value the body you're in. And and I'm confessing here on your interview that I didn't have the ability to look at myself like this up to like 8 or 9 or 10 years ago, because it was always about and now it's not that I don't care. I just want to be fit enough and to be able to run faster than my children for the rest of my life, which is going to be very tough because I have a son and a daughter. They're going to run really fast because they have athletic genes. And I don't know how that's going to happen.
Well, honestly, Neha, I just want to say a huge thank you for sharing that with me and for confessing this on Filme Shilmy's interview. I think this is so heartening to hear. And I just want to say you look beautiful regardless, and you are beautiful inside and out. So I just wanted to convey that to you. And so are you, Yami, and so are you, Behzad.
Yes, Behzad.
Don't push it now. Bez is
so pretty.
Bez is so Yami's very beautiful.
I'm so pretty. Anuj, you made my day. Now I'm going to eat it.
Lovely. Right, but Bezu, I think a Thursday is a huge step up, I think, from your directorial debut, Blank, which is how we first connected, actually. That was how we got in touch. And in that film, via Karan's character, you present the origin story of why a person becomes a villain of society. And you kind of present that in a very humanized way. And again, through Yami's character, we get to see that she isn't, there's a lot more to Neha Jaiswal than just being a vigilante, so to speak. So as a filmmaker, what draws you towards presenting roles like these?
I personally, it comes from a place where I have seen dark characters in Indian films and in international films, where you suddenly, everybody knows that person is the bad guy or the negative character, but somewhere people might not agree to it, but I'm agreeing to it, that you root for him. Like if you choose a guy like Walter White from Breaking Bad, he's not nice, but you don't want anything happening to him. Yes, at the end, you want that redemption, that the bad guy, I mean, I don't believe anybody is bad. They go grave for certain reasons or to make a point. In this case, Neha Jaiswal did. Like she says, agar in bachcho ka sahara nahi liya hota, to koi nahi aata. Not the cops, not Javed, not the PM, nobody. So to make that noise is the route she took. Fictitiously, it's a film, so that is okay. In reality, it would be a very different situation. But yeah. So I think
Yeah.
I'm drawn to such characters that have the little bit of damage that drives them to a certain point or drives them for a greater good. I think that's a great feeling to have at the end of a film.
Right, right. And Yami, I think because the role you played is again a testament to your talent as an actor, as well as it being very socially important. Why do you feel such opportunities were rare for you as an actor? Do you think it was because of the lack of support from people in the industry, or do you think it just was a matter of time where this was going to come to you?
I think this is a question I've asked myself a number of times, but that's a story of the past. And and it's very important. And I've asked this in like retrospective, not as a complaint or something. Just to myself or my family, because they're my closest, they're my confidants. So, and it's important because only until you question something, I don't think you become fully aware of the place, and you otherwise stay in a bubble. When we enter industry and wherever we come from, our respective different backgrounds, especially when you're not from the city, you're not from this particular place, we have different expectations. We make stories in our head ki, acha, ye to, you don't know until you get here what this place is. It is just not how it looks. I don't know how it looks from the outside, but for me, for some weird reason, I always thought, it's not going to be that easy. How hard it can be, because I was a student of law. I wanted to totally have a very different profession from what I ended up being in, and so you don't know until you get in there. No one can ever sum it up correctly for you. You have your own experience. You have your own journey. You have your own choices. You have your own ethics. Here, 2 + 2 is not 4. It could be 10. It could be 100. Yeah. It is, and this place can surprise you in ways that you've not imagined.
Right.
So, and I'm sure that's life. Maybe that stands true for a lot of other professions, but because here it becomes different, because you're constantly in the public eye. You're constantly out there. The decision of your life is not in your hands. It comes through via someone, and there's only so much you can do. I know I made a debut with a very good script, with a path-breaking subject, and with a very fine film. It got a lot of love. I got so much love, but it didn't land me in opportunities, the kind of opportunities I wanted, for different reasons maybe. I'm not a very socializing person. Here, you're expected to socialize and
parties,
parties, or always there's someone who always knows somebody, and you have a circle, etc. And I say it in a very neutral tone. I'm not judging anyone here, because I believe whoever you are, if you reached here with the background, with no background, this place tests you a lot. So everybody has their own backstory.
Right.
So mine is that, theek hai, ab samajh aa gaya ki, and you can get stereotyped also. You'll get acha. And if your last film didn't do well, then in my head now I'm thinking, but I made a debut with that film. So you can't keep holding on to one thought. I had to move on. I had to move on and not do things which also I did. Ki acha, this is ye aisi films ka trend hai. Okay, theek hai. Fine, I've been offered one. Okay, fine, I'll do. In my heart, I know that's not what I want to do, but you do it. And I respect those choices, because they were the best at that time. But then you have to move on and realize that no, get back to the first feeling with which, the attitude with which you came to the industry. I was not scared to say a no. I was very firm about the kind of films I want to do, the kind of roles I want to do. And so be patient, be resilient. It'll come your way. Identify those scripts, and I don't be in a bracket that only if a certain kind of role comes to me, or I have to be now the only actor working or the only actress in the film. No, that's all gone. You have to look for characters in which you has the potential to do something for you which your words or interviews, 1,000 interviews can't do. That happened with me with Uri and Bala once again. And that is, for me, that was a very different turning point for my career. And now, of course, with a Thursday to another level altogether. So there's a lot of factors which go in. We constantly have to keep proving ourselves again and again and again that yes, you can do this. Yes, you can play that part. Yes, you're versatile. Yes, you don't have to go by somebody's just appearance or just because I'm not very socializing. But now, of course, I have there will be people, you will meet certain people who will try and put doubt in your ability, who try and make you feel low about yourself, or that you actually start doubting that am I really cut out for this. But then surround yourself with people who have good energy. For me, it's always been my family, and it takes the belief and faith of one Aditya Dhar, one Amar Kaushik, one Behzad Khambata to change things for you again.
Yeah.
And that's how I sum it up.
Things have definitely changed. And thank you so much for summarizing that. I mean, I think we've run out of time, unfortunately. I had so many more questions.
Oh my God.
Vikram, why so little time? We needed more time.
I just wanna add to what Yami said. And for a lot of people, she's a role model, and for a lot of people, a lot of other actors and actresses are role models. But I just want to tell everyone, who's out there who thinks that these things come easy. They don't. I could tell when she was actually answering that question, and I promise you I'm a bad listener, but I was listening very carefully. But, she's so, there's so much honesty, you should know what the only one who can set standards for yourself is yourself. No one else can. It's very hard to reinvent, or for instance, when people just say ki nahi ye picture nahi chali, what she's saying ki sirf main lead wale roles karne. I think that all of that put together, it's important for people to understand that it doesn't come easy, and especially for the ones who are watching the industry or watching all of us from the outside and thinking that hamare saath to ek picture mein bhi nahi hua, so don't give up, keep at it, and you have to just enjoy the journey. And my husband also always says that. He's like, it's not there's no end game in this business. What is the end game? And ask anyone, does Amir know? Does Shah Rukh know? Does Salman know? Does Yami know? Nobody knows. If I asked Yami this question on this interview right now, so what's your end game? Where do you see yourself? Or we can't answer that. We answer that. We don't need any of those answers. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
COVID, lockdown. Did we ever see this coming?
I was going to literally say COVID has plans of its own. I'm telling you now, even if you have plans, cancel those trips because COVID is always around the corner. It's like the
No, that's what I'm saying. People just need to listen to what she's saying carefully, and it's so true. Just keep at it, keep your blinders on, and go for it. Or maybe not. Sit tight.
Yeah, very true. But look, okay, so one last question I think I'm going to ask all of you, and I think it's a very heavy question to end on, but very important nonetheless. As a society, given a Thursday, how do you think we can be cautious to ensure that survivors of social injustice are not made to be antagonists? And I think, Behzad, I'm going to come to you, then Yami, and then Neha, and then we'll wrap up.
I think I have just a single word for that. Common sense. It's your common sense that has to prevail over a stupid attitude, right? You know for a fact somebody who is a survivor of any form of social injustice it was never his or her choice, right? They landed up in that situation. You are aware of it, that's the situation. Then your common sense has to prevail that, okay, these people are not antagonists. These people are not villains of any kind. They got to be welcomed back into society. And that also troubles me when they say, welcome back into society. They've never left the society. Your society is effed up. So why? So I think they're there. They're right there for us, for people like us to understand that they're as human as you are. You just got luckier then them. It's that simple.
True. Very, very true. Absolutely. Cannot agree more with that. Yami, what about you?
Are you saying in reference to the film or just
Yeah, I think in reference to the film and yeah, going forward now.
It's very it's very difficult to sum it up. I mean, you have the answers like right there in front of your eyes and your heart, but to put it out loud, I think yeah, all we need is to be literally be humans, you know. We seldom forget how grateful we are to be kind of having the lives that we had, and nobody's life is perfect. We all go through ups and downs and bads and highs and lows, but as Behzad said, I think just count yourself lucky if you've not had to go through something which would just shake you inside out, for your rest of your life.
Right.
And if there are bad people out there, if there are people, if or there's also another side, that there's also goodness in the world, I like to believe in.
Yeah.
And we need to, especially in today's time when it comes to social media, there's a lot of debate, of course, that goes around the pros and cons and so many things, and yada yada yada. But this is one, again, medium where it can be very instrumental to connect people to be more empathetic towards one another, rather than taking somebody's video in a vulnerable state and put it out there. I'm saying something very basic, but that very basic could just mean somebody's dignity for life. So people who can buy cell phones, I'm sure there's no, as Behzad said, there's no price on common sense, but we all have a heart, no? We all have the gin chun ke wo 5 emotions hi hain.
Exactly.
Sabke paas hain.
Yeah.
So kuch nahi hai. You just have to really think that it's not your son, it's not your daughter, it's not your mother, it's not your sister there, but somebody's. It could have been anyone.
Yeah, very true. And I think, Neha, I would like to get your perspective as well. Empathy must be very key, right? Especially in today's day.
I mean, yes, most importantly. And but then your question was then how do you not treat them as antagonists? I mean, like Bez said, I mean, to sum it up between Bez, who's talking about common sense, and Yami, who's talking about empathy. I just feel that, I mean, a lot of sensitivity, be sensible, be sensitive. And I feel more than anyone else, survivors have to start afresh. So hold their hand through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that is such a wonderful way to, conclude our session here. I mean, and I cannot be more thankful to Behzad, Yami, and Neha for joining me on Filme Shilmy today to discuss this. I've genuinely really enjoyed this session, and A Thursday is a very special film, and it's going to be one of those movies that I think a lot of people are going to be talking over time. It's going to be one of those films that I'm going to revisit and notice a few things which I perhaps haven't noticed this time around. So yeah, a huge kudos goes to you all, and Behzad, I'm really proud of your journey so far. I can't wait for your next film.
Thanks.
Thank you, Anuj. It was really nice talking to you, and thank you so much.
See you.
So much.
Thank you. Bye.
Wishing you all the best.
कोलाबा पुलिस स्टेशन बोला।
मैं कोलाबा के लिटिल डॉट्स प्ले स्कूल से बात कर रही हूँ। नैना जायसवाल, यहाँ की टीचर। मैंने 16 बच्चों को हॉस्टेज बना लिया और मेरी कुछ डिमांड्स हैं।
मैं एसीपी कैथरीन अल्वारेस बोल रही हूँ। घर में और कौन-कौन है?
मेरी हेल्पर सावित्री और एक बच्ची का ड्राइवर।
नैना, listen to me.
No, you listen to me. मुझे जावेद खान से बात करनी है and you're 1 hour.
हेलो नैना, क्या चाहिए आप?
5 करोड़
हो जाएगा। और उसके बाद आप बच्चों को छोड़ दोगी?
सिर्फ एक बच्चा बाहर है, 1 घंटा 5 करोड़।
16 बच्चों को हॉस्टेज ले लिया है। What is going on? नैना पागल हो गई है क्या?
नैना से बात करनी है प्लीज।
Move in.
कर क्या रही हो? बच्चों के चिथड़े उड़ जाएंगे कहती।
Back off, जावेद। तुम्हारी हरकतें ही बता रहे हैं कि तुम पागल हो।
Really? तो मेरा असली पागलपन अब देखना। और अगर पुलिस ने मेरी डिमांड्स नहीं मानी, हर एक घंटा एक बच्चा मरेगा इन एन अल्फाबेटिकल ऑर्डर।
अब देखना यह है कि जीत किसकी होगी, पुलिस की या नैना के पागलपन की।
मीडिया में मुंह कौन खोला? ये क्या खेल खेल रही हो नैना? सब कुछ एक साथ क्यों नहीं बता रही हो?
I want to speak to the Prime Minister of India.
क्या कहा?
फिर से बोलूं?